This is a melody. It's made up of steps and leaps. A step is the distance of one note. A leap is the distance of more than one note. The combination of steps, leaps, and their direction creates a melody's shape or contour. The notes of a melody are tied to the chords that are played underneath. Here are the chords for this melody, and these are the chord tones. C is the root of C major, E is the third, and G is the fifth. A is the root of A minor, C is the third, and E is the fifth. G is the root of G major, B is the third, and D is the fifth. Notes in the melody that are in the chords are chord tones. G is the fifth of C major. E is the third. E is the third again, and C is the root. E is the fifth of A minor. We have another fifth here. D is the fifth of G major. Notes in the melody that are not in the chords are non-chord tones. Non-chord tones are identified by how they're approached and how they're exited. A passing tone is approached by a step and exited by a step in the same direction. A neighbor tone is approached by a step and exited by a step in the opposite direction. A leading tone is approached by a leap and exited by a step in any direction. An escape tone is approached by a step and exited by a leap in either direction. An anticipation is a note that is a chord tone in the following chord that is held or repeated at the end of the current chord. This B is not in a C major chord, but it's an anticipation of the third in G major. A suspension is a note that is held or repeated from the previous chord that is exited by a step in either direction. This note is not in a G major triad. It's held over from the root of C. It resolves down by a step going down to B. This is a suspension, and this suspension is a 4-3 or a sus4. F was entered by a step and exited by a step in the opposite direction, making it a neighbor tone. D was entered by a step and exited by a step in the same direction, making it a passing tone. We have the same note here, and it was entered by a step and exited by a step in the same direction, so we have another passing tone. This F was entered by a step and exited by a step in the opposite direction, making it a neighbor tone. And this D is not in an A minor chord, but it's an anticipation of the fifth of G. Let's listen to this melody. Here's a new melody. We can already tell that the contour is different. It's more angular. There are more leaps. Now let's analyze the notes of this melody. E is the fifth of A minor, which leaps up to a leading tone going to the third of A minor, which is C, going back down to E, which is the fifth, moving up to F, which is the root of F major, leaping up to another leading tone that leads us to C, which is the fifth. We have a passing tone that goes to the third of C major, moving a step down to an escape tone that leaps down to the fifth of C major, which leaps up to an anticipation of B, which is the third of G major. And here's what it sounds like.